Welcome back, it's me, Lou. And on today's episode, we are going to review an action figure. And it's this one. Transformers Megatron. It's the villainous leader of the Decepticons, and he's a part of Hasbro's new R.E.D line of action figures. R.E.D stands for Robot Enhanced Design. Now, unlike other Transformer toys, this one does not transform at all. Instead, the focus is on making a highly poseable action figure that features multiple points of articulation, and it comes with lots of fun accessories. Now let's unbox this toy and get to it. Okay, here we are with the big baddie himself, the villainous leader of the evil Decepticons, Megatron. And this is part of the R.E.D Robot Enhanced Design line of action figures. So, just like the other figures I reviewed from this line, this drops the transformation gimmick altogether, giving you a, believe, a 6-inch scaled action figure. So, excuse me. If you're all about collecting stuff like Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, G.I. Joe Classified, and you want some Transformer representation on your shelf, but you're not into traditional Transformer toys, this is for you. And as I stated in other videos, I have a bias towards these figures. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love Transformer toys that transform, and I love Transformer toys that do not transform. I love the idea of just having an action figure of a cool character. You know, this guy doesn't need to transform into a gun or a tank for me. I just want Megatron in his badass robot mode wrecking havoc. And we'll go into that a little bit more. But for now, let's take a look at this. Here's the box. I love the box. I love the window frame, how it frames the character. Love this too. I love how they give you a separate window for the accessory tray. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Gotta know who's doing this because I think it's great. I love all the artwork they've provided on the packaging. On the back, we have some fun character poses. This gives you an idea of what you're in for and what this character could do. It's looking cool. It's Megatron. He has his Energon mace. He has his Energon cube. He has his big fusion cannon right here. Alright, let's take a look at this fella. Alright, let's pop him open. We got Megatron in his tray. Accessories, and the blueprint insert that's included with each figure. Now, these are cool. I like these a lot. It's almost like a blueprint technical drawing. Now, I said this earlier. I didn't catch this until this the last review. But these are interesting because they actually provide you with some of the engineering of these figures also. Besides showing you this, like, oh, boom, here's Megatron, and here's his accessories, here's the turnarounds of his arm, they actually give you kind of a blueprint of how the figure is actually assembled. Like, here's the hand, here's the ball joint, and then here's the peg, and here's the, the little joint it rotates on. They even show you here the, I think this is the knee joint. It's double jointed knees. They show you where the brakes are, so when it snaps into place. They give you a view of the foot, ankle joint, the ankle rocker. So it's pretty cool that they're doing that. Okay, here's the figure itself. Accessory tray is nice. You got his Energon mace, closed fist, an open palm, his pointy finger, him holding onto the Energon cube. And we have the big baddie himself, Megatron. And let's get this guy out. Okay, first impressions right out of the box. I like it. As I said, I have a bias towards these kind of figures to begin with, and I know that now he's part of the first wave, and I know that the first wave was kind of met with a lot of mixed reviews. If you're not used to handling action figures like these, you're not going to like this plastic. It's going to throw you off because, you know, some people are really used to handling the more, you know, traditional Transformers, but as I stated in previous videos, handling this feels like handling a Marvel Legends figure or a G.I. Joe Classified or a Star Wars Black Series. I'm not sure if the plastic's necessarily the same, but it feels like it. When I like the first time I held like the R.E.D. Cheetor and I twisted the thigh at the swivel joint, I immediately felt, wow, this feels like a Marvel Legends figure. Now, this is based off his Generation 1 cartoon character model. And I love that because for the longest time, even to this day, third parties have done it, but like, so I've been trying to, like, when I got back into like collecting Transformers again hardcore, you know, many years ago, one thing I really, really wanted is I wanted a perfect Megatron on my shelf because Optimus is such an easy figure to do, and we've gotten so many Optimus figures that look pretty close to what he looks like in the cartoon. I mean, you know, you get the red cab and then he has the grill and the windows and everything, but Megatron was always tricky. Like, even when they gave us the classics Megatron back in, what was it, 2006, 2007, he still turned it into a gun, but it like turned into like almost like a Nerf looking kind of blaster. And then the robot mode suffered because of it, and he had these big wings, and even though he had the color scheme, it still just wasn't Megatron like how I wanted him. And throughout the years, you know, they'd come out with Megatron figures that had the right color scheme, but it's like, it's still not there. And, you know, right here we are. I'm finally getting a cartoon Megatron that's licensed by Hasbro. This is an official product. It's brilliant. It's such a beautiful figure. I'm not going to go into the articulation because, in all honesty, there's better videos on YouTube for that. This is more for me about my first impressions of the figure. And it's cool. See, it's a nice hard plastic. You know, people are going to say that these figures are all gummy and they feel like they're going to melt and whatever, but it's nice hard plastic. It uses a softer plastic where it counts for like the joints and stuff, but each figure is going to be different. One thing I love about this toy line also is that, I touched on this briefly in another video, is that these figures aren't cheap to produce at all. And one of the reasons why is that there's no reuse. Each character they've released so far is a very unique character. With figures like Marvel Legends, you know, it's easy to carry across one body across different figures because they're all superheroes. So the same body used for a Superman, for a Spider-Man, you can use for like Captain America, and, you know, so on and so on. You know, Cyclops shares the same body as Captain America in the action figure. There's a very specific Wolverine figure, and they've released, you know, they reused that so many times over through repaints. But for this line, this is a very unique mold to this character. Unless they start dipping in and start making like deep cut characters like Browning or something like that, you're not going to see this Megatron mold used for something else other than maybe a repaint. Like, I could totally envision them re-releasing this figure with a premium paint job and making it a con exclusive or something. So yeah, just the fact that this is a unique mold really sells me on this line. Like, I'm sure though that you'll see reuse for certain characters like the Seekers, You know, once they release Starscream and Thundercracker and Skywarp, you can see the same mold, but it's neat that you're getting a unique mold for a very specific character, and the posability is really fun. This line is totally for people that, if you're not into traditional Transformer toys, but you do want Transformers in your action figure collection, this is for you. If your shelf space in your display area is more so accommodating for traditional 6-inch action figures like the Marvel Legends and Black Series figures, this line fits perfectly in that. You know, this can easily share a home with Darth Vader or like Magneto or Doctor Doom. It's great. Articulation's there. And let's take a look at the accessories real quick. Now, I like these accessories, being able to swap out the fists and stuff. It's like I mentioned in my other videos. The engineering for this kind of feels this lot like the Marvel Legends figures. You know, it's easy. Pull that out, swap this in. You know, they give you the same amount of range of movement. And as I've stated in other videos, I'm excited because I hope customizers jump on board this toy line, because I think once they start getting more figures down the hole, you're going to see so many cool customs. I totally picture people body swapping parts and scratch building stuff, 3D printing add-ons, and I think the possibilities for this toy line is just going to be very limitless. There's going to be so much that's going to be done with this. Yeah, that's cool. I like this a lot. Megatron. I'm really hoping they get to explore other versions of Megatron with this line. Not just, you know, releasing Galvatron. That's a given. That's gonna happen. But I'm really hoping that, you know, they go for the really deep cuts, and then we get some of the like more obscure versions, like Megatron from the IDW comic books, where he was a miner, or a gladiatorial Megatron where he fought in the gladiatorial pits, or the Autobot Megatron from the More Than Meets the Eye comic in the Lost Light series. Yeah, I mean, they've already actually made a licensed one with that, with the Farai model kits. But yeah, I'm very stoked to get a Megatron figure that looks like the cartoon character model. I mean, the posability is there. It's really cool. Now I get it. I've said this before. If you're not into this line of figures, that's cool. You know, some people are very married to the fact that Transformer toys need to transform, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I like having this option because I'm one of these collectors that, it's very backwards for me to say it, but I don't really transform my Transformer toys. I'm more in love with the robot characters. And I think that's mostly because when I was younger, I loved the transformation gimmick, but back then, you know, I got real looking cars and stuff like that, and I don't know, but this just looks really cool. Look at that. This is an amazing toy. I want more. I want more. I just hope, I mean, as much as I'm stoked on this, God, during this pandemic, the amount of action figures that Hasbro has given us is just insane. Like, if you're a Marvel Legends fan, you are probably broke as hell, because it seems like there's a new wave and new line of Marvel Legends like every 2 weeks, and it's so hard to keep up. This, I think, there are only 2 waves into this so far. The first wave was Megatron, Optimus, and Soundwave. The second wave is this RC and Cheetor. So, okay, let's do this real quick. All right. So, if you're all about a Megatron, you want one that transforms, and you kind of want him to look G1, this is one of my favorite Megatron figures right now. This is the Netflix exclusive figure that's available at Walmart. It's based off of from the new cartoon. It's collecting a little bit of dust here. But I love this. This is a premium figure through and through. The paint job is phenomenal. I love this figure. This is like one of my favorite figures from like last year. So if you want a Megatron figure that's Generation 1 looking and want one that transforms don't worry, you can still get that. There's this. He turned into a tank. Now we're going to take a look at a couple of non-transforming Megatrons because, like I said, I love Transformer figures that don't transform. And I even love the ones that don't even move at all. So there's this guy. This is, I believe, the Titan Heroes exclusive. I mean, you can buy him at Walmart now, or if you can still find him at Walmart. But he was originally released as an exclusive set. It's more of like a vinyl figure. It came with Optimus, Soundwave, Megatron, and I think Grimlock, and maybe Starscream. And I think that was a San Diego Con exclusive. But eventually you could buy this guy solo at Walmart. And I love this figure too. This is the kind of figure that everyone calls, it's like a shampoo bottle because it feels like a shampoo bottle. And you can only move his waist, his arms, and his head. But like the Optimus figure that's like this, me and Megatron Optimus, we had many fun adventures at my office desk at work. Because that's where I'd keep them. So I love you, Megatron. You're awesome. And I hated the fact that when they announced this line, people just compared it to this. You know, I mean, that already kind of shows you have a contempt for Transformer figures that don't transform. And dude, give it a chance. They're just giving you more product. You don't need to buy it. But there's people like me that are going to be all over this. And I love you, Hasbro. So make more of these for me. This is an oddball figure because this is based off of a this is based off a Transformers figure that didn't transform, just like this one. So years ago, Revoltech, they made a Megatron that was an action figure. It didn't transform. It was an action figure. Had a couple of accessories you could swap out, and it didn't transform. But this thing is funny because this is a Carlson Christmas ornament that's based off of the Revoltech Megatron. So it's a third-party figure based off of a third-party figure, but this one is actually, I don't know, it's weird. But this one doesn't transform. I found this at a secondhand shop, and it boggled my mind because I knew what it was based off of, but this made me crazy because I'm like, they made a Christmas ornament of a non-first-party figure. I don't know, it's weird. It blew me away, but this doesn't transform either, and I love it, and I display it with my other Megatrons and my other Decepticons that fit in this scale, because it's awesome. And this is the darling of my non-transforming Megatron figures, or at least it used to be. This is the Heroes of Cybertron Megatron, and this, I believe, was a Walgreens exclusive. It doesn't transform, very limited articulation. And I remember people loved these things. These were reasonably priced, and it's a Megatron figure that doesn't transform. It's very rubbery and gummy, but it's cool. And it holds a very special place in my heart because I love Megatron. And weird side bit about my love for Megatron, I actually have the actual original artwork from the Transformer IDW comic where Megatron gets his fusion cannon, his iconic fusion cannon, and that for me, that's like, whoa, that's like having the issue of like Captain America where he gets the shield for the first time. So in my collection, I actually have the original artwork from the comic book where Megatron gets the fusion cannon. And one day I'll frame it and I'll display it next to all my Megatron stuff. Because I have a Megatron shelf, and that's all it is. It's just Megatron figures. So as you can tell, I'm hard for Megatron. Megatron's badass. So do I recommend this figure? Of course I do. Of course I do. I love Megatron. I love the fact that I can just have a normal looking Transformer action figure that's just an action figure. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a normal Transformer figure hater. I love Transformers. I have a ridiculous collection of them. But the fact that I get to jump down another alley and start collecting my figures again, but in a very different form, is exciting for me. You know, I already have enough Megatrons that transforms into guns and tanks. I just want a Megatron that's just an action figure that'll just sit there and collect dust, and when I want it to pose, I'll pose him. You know, he's reasonably sized, he's going to fit on the shelf, and he's going to look awesome next to Dr. Doom, and they're going to shake hands, and they're going to rule the world together. So yeah, this is Megatron from the R.E.D line. I highly recommend it. If you're on the fence about it, buy 1 or 2 figs, give it a shot. So, thanks for checking out this video. It's been my pleasure. Take care.